if they keep winning, they could virtually, not mathematically, but virtually say, right, we've got this sewn up, and the Champions League is clear.
Paramount, isn't it? That's the worry. I mean, not the worry in terms of them trying to go unbeaten. That's when it starts getting tricky.
But in terms of people saying, oh, well, the Premier League's the Holy Grail and the Champions League's... Actually, by the time they start playing Atletico Madrid, they could be...
Yeah, but Alan's right. Let's change them now. Just put red on there. Should we do that now? We're not allowed. But I get what you're saying. Listen, there'll be batches in there where Jurgen Klopp would identify, Tottenham, Man U and Wolves, like they did a couple of weeks back when they turned over Leicester and beat them 4, but could have been a lot more. And there's always a few little games, and you have to be respectful to the teams in the Premier League because it's such a strong league. But the way Liverpool are playing at the moment, Steve, I can't see anyone on that list upsetting Liverpool. I really can't. Even a Tottenham side where a Jose Mourinho side could spoil and could nick a 1-0 win. You're seeing Liverpool have just gone 5 clean sheets, and you see the front men scoring goals for fun. So how that's going to pan out, I can imagine Liverpool win, and then United might pose a problem because they've always shut up shop at Anfield. So that'll be one where they'll want to get over the line, and then you play teams with the form that they're in, and you just think their form is so good. You can't. I mean, you want to be respectful to these sides of the Premier League because they're all good sides, but at the same time, Liverpool are a notch above everyone. It's hard to see how they can be stopped.
And the Champions League challenge could really be reignited with those 2 Atletico games, and then they get momentum in that competition as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the football club is on such a high now, and the belief running right through it. Those 3 games next in terms of Tottenham, it might just be exactly what Liverpool need in terms of, right, we're playing a big club, big manager who will want to prove a point, who will want desperately to be the manager that stops Liverpool to get that first defeat against them. But that might just be what Liverpool need just to keep that momentum going. But as I said, it's not a problem when you've got that in your football club. The games can't come quick enough, and that's exactly what Liverpool...
We're talking about standards at Liverpool. He's setting pretty high ones from the Sheffield United team, Alan.
No, but what he's doing, Steve, is he's sending a message to his dressing room in terms of let's not get carried away with our season, because they've had a lot of plaudits this season, and rightly so. But what he's saying is if you're a world-class player, world-class players still have to work their socks off, have to have their attitude right. So I think that's what he's saying to his dressing room. If these guys can do it, who are world champions, who are European champions, who are about to be Premier League champions, then we have to still continue to do that. And I loved that interview in terms of what he was saying and the message he was trying to get across.
Yeah, and the tactics, as he says, and all the academy stuff comes after that. If you can't work hard and put a shift in.
That's it. Well, it used to be the rhetoric from all the managers. I'm pretty sure Al's heard it a million times. When you go into a game, you've got to make sure you win the battle. You make sure you win the battle and you fight and you compete, and then normally your ability takes over. I'm talking when you're a top-end club, and that's what Liverpool do. Liverpool don't just play from minute 1 and play silky football. They make sure they put their foot in. And I think that's great. I mean, I think the interview is fantastic because that's what he would have said to his dressing room after the game. This is an unbelievable team. A fantastic football club, but they do the basics. They still put tackles in. They still cover the yardage. They still do everything right. And then the ability and the tactics, they all come sort of secondary.
But you know what? That never, ever changes.
No.
With any top club. The first thing that a top player and a top club do is they work their socks off. Look at Manchester City when they were last season and the season before. What were we kept on saying about when they lost the ball? The way they worked to get that ball back. Look at what Barcelona did when Pep was manager. Look at what Man United did. Yes, they had all these great players, but great players work their socks off. And that's the one thing that you should never, ever forget about top-class players.
Has he not been a little harsh on Sheffield United when he said we didn't get anywhere near them, didn't lay a glove on them? Would you have expected that if you were a Sheffield United player?
I think that's okay. It's like when he come out after the Liverpool game, actually, ironically, when he left a little bit on his goalkeeper. Yeah. When he made the mistake. And he didn't try to protect him. He didn't put an arm around him. He just said, look, you make errors when the whole world's watching. I can't protect you. And I don't think you mind that as a player. I hear people, people maybe think that the modern-day pros are a little bit soft, but you can take it, and you've got to take it. It's a ruthless business you're in, especially when you're in the Premier League. It's hard work, and you need a manager that's going to come down on you well. Now, they might be a little bit harsh in terms of when you see what Liverpool have done, because they were brilliant tonight and could have put a serious number past them. So he might be saying something completely different inside the dressing room. He might be protecting them slightly. But imagine on a 1v1 basis, he would have said to his players either tonight or maybe over the next couple of days, that wasn't good enough, because their standards should be a little bit higher and a little bit better.
I think it's very, very good man management in terms of what he's saying to his team. Now, they've played Man City and they've played Liverpool in the last 2 games, but just before that, they've been magnificent. And we said it before the game. It wasn't a free hit, but no one really expected them to go to Anfield tonight. But what he's saying is, he said, right, we've reached a certain standard. That standard dropped this evening, and he's paying a compliment to Liverpool for stopping and doing that. But he's also sending that and saying to his players, we've got so far, let's not stop there. Let's carry on. Let's keep on getting the compliments we've been having all season and get back to what we've been very good at.
Well, of course, they have suffered back-to-back league defeats for the first time as well, let's point out, since coming back into the Premier League. So in terms of their recovery, they have non-league filed at home in the FA Cup. Next Premier League game at home to West Ham. Then they go to Arsenal. Then they play Manchester City again at Bramall Lane. But after that, on paper, it is a little more comfortable on the eye for them. And they've been such a good story, Alan, that you expect over that period of games no drop-off? I
see no reason why there should be, Steve, because we've seen enough ability, enough courage, and they're brave in what they do in terms of the belief that they have, that they can play that certain way, and it's been magnificent for them for all of this season. And I don't see that changing. Yes, they've had a blip, but take it into context where the blips have been at, both at City and at Liverpool. It's unfortunate the way the fixtures have fallen for them, but they'll get back, and I'm sure they'll start winning games again. And I have no issues and no problems with Sheffield United. They'll come back and they'll start winning football matches and scoring goals again.
Yeah, I don't think he'll allow it. And that's what you want from your manager. You wouldn't want your manager to allow you to go over a period of time where you're losing games. I think Newcastle done them 2-0, Man City done them 2-0 in Liverpool as well. So no one's battered this Sheffield United side. They don't go under. He won't allow it.